Hey guys, so delightful to be again with you. And guess what? I have a special surprise. Today I will not be recording this AMA myself. Here with me is Sara Stojanovski. She is a senior product manager at d.labs. And Sara, the reason why I invited you is because we have been thinking so hard about what is happening right now and how to make sense of it. And I'm absolutely eager to talk through these changes with you for the general LinkedIn community that is recording there. Is there anything else that you would like to highlight about your career? Maybe that you have been putting companies to digital for more than 5 years? I don't know.
Yeah, even more, I think.
Nice.
It's been 8 years. So everything from enterprises and the hardcore industries such as healthcare and insurance. But yeah, this new pandemic challenges is new even to me. So.
Yeah, it's unlike anything that we've seen before. And I mean, when we started our careers, there was this financial crisis, and they told us it's once in a lifetime thingy. But right now, we're seeing like the world falling apart. And just like by now, like I personally believe that reality is changing in a long term. It's not just like this period in between, but the customer behavior, the consumption part of the GDP and whatnot is just like impacting us in a longer term than we initially anticipated. And I hope that today we will try to make some sense out of it. We'll focus on digital because we are not pandemic experts, but we can sure discuss how to initiate and just like make sure that the transition to digital is a little bit quicker. And just like to start with, before we start to read the AMA questions that we will absolutely love to answer in the beginning, how are you doing these days? I mean, what has been up?
On our end,
Yeah.
It's been a challenge. First, we had to transition to working fully remote, so the entire company. So that went actually smoother than expected because we worked remotely before with our clients, so we just had to go home and turn on our computers. But yeah, now we're tackling various challenges with our clients, with their customers. So it's been a rocky few weeks, and we'll see what the future holds for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, from my side, I've been talking with Katarina for my podcast just like the other week, and I'm totally giving you this huge kudos for still like being able to maintain such a good culture and making sure that people are treated holistically. That was like very nice to hear from me because apparently myself, I am only focusing on my well-being, and it's so much more complex to take care of 100 people. So yeah, thanks for taking the time and still being able to do this. And without any further ado, why don't we jump into the screen share and see what people have written to us. So I will screen share now. Go to Google Chrome, and we have it. Sara, do you see the screen?
I do.
Fantastic. Cool. Let's see what's hiding in the comments. Oh, the first question, which just like came in, and I'm absolutely thrilled that it did because it's such an important subject to address. The main question here is, how does Corona impact the small business owners? Because everybody's like really rushing into digitalization. And basically, Jurem Asarec is wondering how to help companies to make mistakes into transitioning to digital. Like, what would the best practices be for small businesses, how to adapt digital? What do you think about that, Sara?
Okay. Yeah, so I think the key here is to get out there as soon as possible. Time is of the essence here. We have to be super agile, learn fast, and ship our product as soon as it meets the minimal requirements to deliver value to the users and to be able to kickstart the business again. So I think this is the mindset that small business owners have to have. They should rely on maybe outside help that can help them deliver this if they don't have experience with digital. There are several wonderful agencies that offer this for really, really reasonable prices nowadays, or even some people that might help you for free. So yeah, definitely just go out there, deliver the product to the consumers, and then improve as you go along and learn, and that's it.
Yeah, beautifully said. I mean, the two things that are absolutely key takeaways from what you said are that you need to be agile, that you need to be the absolutely quickest that you can possibly be. That's really important. And the second point is get help. I mean, people have done it before. They have learned from mistakes. You don't have to go through this process again. And that absolutely helps. Maybe the third point that I would personally like to emphasize is go where the traffic already is. It's damn difficult to grow traffic. So for example, if you're a restaurant, why don't you go on Uber Eats, on Wolt, and places that already have some demand going on. You don't have to go and grow your business from 0 to 500 to begin with, because like the investment in the initial stack is usually heavy enough. So make sure that you can piggyback on what I want to say somebody else's audiences. But yeah, there are platforms, there is media, there are social media groups, and talking about which, these days it's really important to connect with your customers, you know, and to be there for them, to serve them, to communicate on a frequent basis. That's definitely what I would recommend to small business owner as well, in addition to what Sara already said, because as she emphasized, speed is of the absolute essence here. You don't have weeks to adjust, you have days, maybe. So better done than perfect. Anything you would like to add?
No, that's wonderful advice.
Fantastic. Okay, then Sara, we have a value bump. Anna set up like really, really, really awesome questions about actually the business that she's involved in right now. Would you like to take it now, or do we leave this one because it's really specific to the end? How would you tackle this?
Let's do it at the end, I suggest.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I just passed my responsibility to you. If I don't remember, you should. There is another wonderful lady. Do you remember Sandra?
Yeah.
She's great.
Did a wonderful workshop for photography for our branding team.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so much as well. And you were absolute winner of that workshop. I mean, your photography is phenomenal. But yeah, totally grateful to Sandra for her guidance. She really knows her shit. So let's see what Sandra was wondering about. All right, so she's eager to know more about the attitude and the mental approach that clients who are successful have in these crises. And I mean, Sara, if you could just like begin with some of observations from your business.
Yeah, sure. So we're working with startups. So some of this, let's say, mentality and let's say mindset is already inherent to them. But what's key, I think, is like Maja said before, is being really, really agile, maybe even hyper agile in these days. You have to be willing to accept that you're gonna have to learn fast, and you're probably gonna fail fast or succeed fast. But that's valuable. You have to do it. And what I've noticed is what's also important is that if you haven't been customer centered before, you need to start being now, because
Nice.
customers are changing. They're not the same customers that they were a month ago. Their behaviors are changing, their purchasing habits, their media consumption, everything is different, and your product may not be relevant anymore to them. So you need to go talk to them. You have to learn how these changes affected them and how they will in the future, and you have to adapt your product or service accordingly. So
absolutely love how you put that, especially the last part, because myself, I've been tremendously busy for the last 2 weeks with customer discovery and customer journey workshops. I mean, what you said about the existing clients is absolutely true. And the new reality also brought some new like opportunities. So right now, as we know, e-commerce is booming. Some of the SaaS businesses are doing amazingly well. So there is a question, where are the new opportunities lying? The majority of folks, I mean, as we discussed before, are just like out there spending way less or spending differently than they used to. So what Sara already emphasized in terms of understanding the change reality and just like focusing on where the new opportunities of the business are is absolutely crucial. Then like from my side, because I'm trying to navigate my business through this crisis as well, and this will sound like totally dumb, but apologies, zero apologies for that, but have some reserves. I mean, it's so important not to be like rushed into the decisions, because those decisions that we take from a place of fear are so much different than those which we take from the place of courage. If you can, absolutely set something aside, be cautious about what you're doing, don't be panicking into what you should be doing and what needs to be done. I mean, responsibilities are huge. And these days, I'm seeing like too little empathy for business owners. We are all trying to cope the best we can. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has a blueprint how to cope with that. It's a freaking difficult situation out there. But what I see as the key differentiator from, I won't say winners or losers, but just like those of us who will hopefully survive through the things and those who will unfortunately have to pivot into something else, is the agility. Is just like these, won't say survivors of the fittest because it's totally lame, but yeah, to be like responsive to the opportunities, to absorb information. I don't believe that you should isolate yourself from the information flow either, because as you see right now, like festivals in summer being canceled, that means that like companies in a way reserved a lot of money to do some events that will never be executed. So as a business owner, you should be asking yourself, how can you like create meaningful interaction points to those companies whose realities has changed dramatically and are still doing at least like modestly well. And from the mindset point of view, and I think Sara, what you at d.labs have here brilliantly thought out is this routine part. So what habits are you practicing in the times of quarantine? Myself, I've been obsessed with the idea of 5 a.m. morning club recently. And in the morning, I'm like exercising a little bit. I'm doing some planning. I'm doing some reading, and it's just wonderful. Sara, how do your mornings go?
My mornings, they currently start with a yoga session, everyday yoga session with my coworkers.
Nice.
So we started doing that when self isolation started, and I think we're in our last week of the 30-day challenge. So we're almost professional yogis by now.
Cool.
Just kidding, nowhere near. Then of course it's just like coffee, breakfast, and get to work.
I mean, it's so important because we still need to keep connected and just like being cautious about what you guys are doing, like these after work drinks and whatnot. This has been very inspirational for me personally, because it's very evident that you are thinking about the situation holistically. How does it influence people? I, by the way, have the suspicions that you are more of a night owl, because I see sometimes your messages on Slack on very weird hours when I'm already sleeping. So yeah, maybe we are not that compatible in terms of biorhythm. I don't know about
I'm also a morning person and
that. All right.
which is bad for my sleeping habits.
Indeed. Hey, here we found another like really cool question, and here I totally believe that like you can say so much about this, because You and Romina were practically the first people who introduced me to Miro software. So Romina is wondering, how is the process for remote workshops? How does it look like now? And Romina, are you seriously asking that if we have more meetings? Of course we do. I bet you have them too. So we'll just focus on workshop here. But thank you so much for pitching it with your question. We adore you. You are one of the leaders in design thinking and design strategy. So thanks so much for pitching in. And I would very much like to invite Sara to just like explain her process a little bit.
Sure. I just have to say before I start, I actually have less meetings, and they're really
All
like
right.
concrete and short and with an agenda and a follow up. So I love this remote work actually.
Oh, good
Uh,
for you.
as for the workshops go, so I've had a few, not many, but a few chances to do this in the past few weeks, and so we try to mimic or imitate the experience that we would otherwise offer in person, so in our offices or at our clients. So we practically use the same frameworks, just that we did it online. So it's Zoom plus Miro. Miro is a wonderful team collaboration tool that serves as a like a virtual whiteboard. You have all the sticky notes and you can even use the pen and imitate the Sharpie if you're a product manager. That's probably your obsession. And Miro is so flexible. It has some wonderful templates, but you can build practically any like collaboration exercise with it. So what we did, we actually did a 5-day design sprint using Miro, completely online. It was a bit different. It was a bit challenging. There's less opportunity, to like read the room, to sense the vibe of the people that are participating. As a facilitator, I think you have to have some math skills. I was struggling with it, because you can't like see their faces, and you have to constantly like encourage them to participate via Zoom. But yeah, I think it turned out wonderfully actually. And my biggest like success, I think, is that I got the development team to really like Miro and sticky notes, and they like prepared the text pack using the stickies, and that was awesome.
Amazing. Hey Sarah, I'm just like trying to go through your like Medium post, and I think that like I will have the most luck
I
if
have
I
two
just
medium. I have two medium profiles. That's the wrong one.
right. But here it is, right? The
Yeah.
article in which you shared like mirror screenshots, and this is such a tremendously good article in my opinion. That was like such a pleasure to read. So yeah, here we'll just link it to the AMA. Here are some of the screenshots from Mira that Sara shared, also how to do like remote interviews. It's a truly insightful article. I absolutely loved it. So that's a good start to have like an overview of what guys at d.labs, especially Sara's teams, have been doing. And of course, since we are like here already, I have to pitch it with some of my crazy ideas as well. So if we go to my Miro, I'm absolute fan of it since Sara and Romina introduced it. So let's go to this one who is like more of the safe bet. Hola. This is how I'm like working with folks these days. So I'm still like bullish on Expressia, doing my personas there. I think they're absolutely wonderful, very visual. Later on, we have this growth strategy framework that I coined last year, and we have a bunch of post-its on which we can like brainstorm a little bit. Sometimes I put some other assets as well, but yeah, practically I've been running those workshops for more than 100 people in this screen. I mean, it's a little bit more engaging because you can like drag and drop post-its, and everybody can actively participate, but it's definitely not the same as in physical world, because like what I'm personally struggling with the most, and fill me up, Sara, if that's not the same for you, is to see how people are reacting to stuff. I don't know if they are clipping fingernails or what the hell are they doing when I'm giving a talk. So yeah, interaction has been something that I've been personally thinking a lot about. And apart from some statuses that I've shared, I haven't like fully tackled that. So it's still like learning curve for me. What about you?
I had the same problem. It's easier if there's a small group, so like up to 4 people, I think, and we have the cameras on. Then you can kind of like read their faces and see their reactions. But if it's more than that, it gets difficult. And also, you can't force people to like turn on their camera if they don't feel comfortable with it. But I really like admire you for doing a workshop for 100 plus people. That's
Well, it's not my choice, really. These have been pre-corona arrangements, so I just have to fill in on my promises. But yeah, I mean, we're always trying our best, but everybody's still adjusting here. Cool. Then we have, by the way, this is it harder to gather data in this time? Here Sara, like in her article, wrote how to do customer interviews beautifully, so that should like answer this question. For me personally, I've been doing remote customer discovery before, so it's not like a huge change. Is there anything that you would like to add, or do we move forward?
No, I think it covers it. It's also
Cool.
really useful to prepare like agendas and follow-ups or send them something in advance so you can capture the data and like have a more structured workshop. So that's it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And Romina, if you feel that we haven't covered anything that you were like specifically focused on, please fill us in, and we are happy to do this later. Absolutely love you. Huge fan of your work. Check out Design Strategy. Romina is amazing. Then we go to Doman Hladin, who posted 2 questions. First one, and Sara, you go solo on that because I don't have any team members. Do you think that teams are performing better remotely?
Well, it's hard to answer that because I don't know what the metric would be, what makes them perform better or worse. But I can share my personal opinion as far as my team goes. I think we may be performing even better. It's hard to say, but I think that the speed of delivery and the quality of the outcomes has really increased since we've gone fully remote. I really admire them for how they stepped up. They're really empowered. They're not like waiting for me or anyone else to tell them what to do. So we have like a common goal, and we're doing each of us is doing our part to help achieve that. And I think it also helps that since we're on our own schedule now, we can like use our time in an optimal way. So if you want to work in the morning, at night, take a break for lunch, go out for a walk, that's more easy to do now, and I think that helps with the performance.
Very cool. Yeah, I haven't like thinking much about it because I've been like super focused into just like how to keep people that I work with in a good shape and like performing positively. But thank you so much for sharing this perspective. It was super insightful. Personally, I'm very passionate that I don't spend a lot of time in transportation and just like getting my ass across the city. That's a huge positive change for me. But other than that, I don't have anything else to add. And here is the question that I absolutely love and admire. What do you believe will be the best consequences business wise of what's going on right now? And let me start here. So for me, what was the most interesting is just like this transition to digital. Companies that have been like putting very like negative perspective to remote work and just like collaboration tools in the past have been transitioning to like fully remote in a matter of days. That has been like a huge advancement in terms of digitalization and just like flexibility and modern workplaces. That has been phenomenal. I've seen that like on an example of my mother that absolutely mastered GoToMeeting, Zoom, and other collaboration tools within a week. And just like how, I wouldn't say like older generation, but like how boomers adjusted to the new reality and how much more are they participating in the digital space has absolutely blown my mind. And that I think will stay at least to some extent because they learned how to use tools that might have been like scary to them before. So that was for me. What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I thought of a meme I saw now. I'm sure everyone has seen it, but I'm gonna reference it anyway. So it was like, what made your company, what digitally transformed your company into
Yeah.
like CEO, CFO, COO, or COVID-19, and I think that sums it up perfectly.
Beautifully said. And then what you said before about meetings, just like this, maybe sometimes less meaningful interaction points that we had, and just like these habitual routines are being redefined now. So I believe, I hope that people will feel more productive and more fulfilled at their workplace. That's probably my humble wish. But yeah, we already saw like with some companies, as Sarah was explaining before, how meetings are more efficient and quicker. For me, there is still like meeting on a meeting about the meeting. But yeah, I mean, maybe we haven't transitioned fully. I don't know. Anything else?
No, I think that covers it. And
Fantastic.
the ability to be really agile. I think I have to emphasize that again.
Yeah, of course, go ahead, go ahead. And talking about which, Primoz, our Renaissance host from podcast, asked a wonderful question as well. And I believe that you and Jaka Leostek have been doing some amazing work about this in terms of the metrics, how to adapt and what to do. So he asked, what should companies unable to operate at the moment because of their work specific do? Adapt, wait, pivot. So in a simple words, what to do?
Well, I don't think there's a universal answer, but in
Exactly.
general, I think waiting and like maintaining the status quo is probably the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
There are several opportunities that arise from this crisis for businesses, but I think it's crucial to either find new revenue streams, find new customer segments, try and find like a really micro one and focus on that first and then expand, because otherwise it will be overwhelming. Or try and scale your existing business in a way, transform it to digital as much as possible.
Absolutely great answer. And we have been talking about this when we were answering Kira's question right on from the beginning. And the example that I personally love is Pitch Booty Plan. So Eva and Nick, the founders, used to work a lot like as a personal trainers in fitness centers. But right now, I mean, fitness centers are closed. So they launched this wonderful online program. And right now, like over 700 people have been included in this program so far. Amazing Facebook group, like with a lot of interaction. And I just like they have walked the talk. I mean, they have pivoted in a week and they have recorded this program and just like continue to serve their customers. So what Sarah already emphasized before, speed is absolute essence, and just like how to pivot on digital the best you can, whereas maintaining like solid and good relationship towards your community. I don't know if the metrics that you and Yaka are working on is ready yet, but as soon as it will be, we are happy to share it with Primoz and other guys in comments, right?
Definitely. We
Fantastic.
a bit more time.
Yeah, sure. No worries. Things won't change that rapidly as we already established understanding of. So it will be beneficial as soon as we get it. Then we have like 2 shout outs, which I absolutely love. And thank you guys so much for being kind and sending good vibes in these times. We actually have 3, which is amazing. And I love you. I adore you. You're great. And keep on rocking. And whenever there is something that we can help you with, definitely pitch in. Here is another wonderful person from d.labs, Janko. By the way, do you want to just like spend 1 minute on telling what Janko and his wife have launched?
Oh, they're amazing. So
Amazing.
they spent like probably what was a weekend building a platform for small business owners. It's called naidibon.si. It might get rebranded because they're expanding, but now it's naidibon.si. And basically, it's like a marketplace. So small business owners can just like register to their platform for free, and they get listed, and then like people, consumers can purchase like these gift certificates for their shops, which they can then use when the shops reopen or buy online. So it's a wonderful
Wonderful.
initiative. They've got a lot of publicity, and they're scaling it already. So kudos to them.
Amazing. And they were the one of the first ones who like responded to the new reality of just like all these awesome service businesses suddenly losing the business. So yeah, that's like if we return to the question, what's the best thing that is coming out of this situation? Solidarity. Just like our notion to help each other, to use innovation for good. I mean, this is the absolute best phase of the human race right now. And yeah, I'm very happy that we talked about Janko and his project a little bit, because that has been a very unique and awesome project in our space. Fantastic. And then before we hit, we have 2 more, right? And let's save what's the end of this situation for the last. So Rimas is wondering how the digital space would evolve after pandemic, and will there be an increase in digital marketing needs? That's an awesome question.
This one's for you, I think.
Oh la la. Thank you, Sara. I love when I have these dynamics with guests that we are like always passing the ball and stuff. um yeah, so what's going on in the companies right now, Rimas, is that the best salespeople are locked in the building. And that sucks because they are not like really in the skill set of selling stuff online. I mean, some of them are pretty decent on Zoom meetings and whatnot. But practically, what I'm seeing in my business practice is that companies are investing greatly into establishing digital direct channels. And that will be an opportunity. Why? Because for some time, maybe like 6 months or something like that, salespeople will not be able to travel normally. People will still need stuff. It's your prerogative to figure out which stuff that will be, to adjust your service offerings to that. But the consumption will continue to some extent. And as digital marketers and just like digital creators, we have this tool set and these skills to help businesses to transition through these times. Here is like a very interesting question: who will have like the chance to guide businesses through the process? And my answer is whoever has done it before, whoever has good as references, who has proof to do like to work on such projects. And here is like another amazing example that we can share. It's called Line Scouts. This is the project that Sara at d.labs and her team have been launching in, I don't know, like maybe 4 days or something like that. Is that so?
Yeah, I think it was like over the weekend and then some improvements.
Wonderfully. And in like a matter of 2 weeks, guys have been gaining like thousands of users to just like check out which supermarket in their surroundings is safe, is like good to visit, is not too crowded. And it's been such a phenomenal and awesome tool. And imagine if we offer this to like some of the business systems and just like small business owners, that they can like co-develop the tool with, or maybe just like ask their employees to report on this stuff. That would be phenomenal. So in terms of what Sara already has talked about plenty in this AMA agility, and just like launching MVPs, this is another piece of a wonderful, wonderful product that gained thousands of users within a week for just like being useful. And whoever has such projects and whoever has proven track record to guiding these businesses throughout this crisis can prosper a lot from this situation. And I'm not talking about like war profiteers here, because that absolutely sucks and we shouldn't be doing that in the first place. But just like maybe to start a volunteer project at the beginning, and maybe you can grow it into valid business opportunity later on, or just like have some really cool traction for the business that you are closing on in the beginning. Okay, I think that we covered on that one, right? Anything
Yeah,
else that people should know about Line Scouts?
it's funny what you mentioned, because that's actually the idea for like future upgrades for shop owners to be actually able to say, okay, the vulnerable groups like we have in Slovenia can go to the shop in this time period, and perhaps like healthcare workers go in this period. So it like distributes the visitation throughout the day, so nobody is at harm's way.
Got it. It's such a beautiful project, and I really hope that the user base will continue to grow as rapidly as it did, and even faster, because that one is like really useful. Cannot say enough how impressed I was with just like you guys being able to launch this in 4 days. That's freaking phenomenal. Then we have Maja Voje, who would like this shit to be over. So he's wondering, what do you expect the economy will return to business as usual? Sara and I already like talk about this at the beginning, and we acknowledge that there will be some firm and some ongoing customer behavior changes in months to come. From what I'm seeing in my business practices, Q4 is probably the best bet, because all the events for summer are being canceled, and maybe things will start to restore in Q3. But to see like big events and industry fairs and whatnot, I think Q4 would be a safe bet, when people will feel comfortable again to be like in the room with hundreds of other people. Other than that, like, I'm so sorry for all the people who are planning to get married this week, this year. There were plenty of those people, but it seems that Q2 is definitely not going to be as rosy as we imagined. Any other thoughts, Sara?
Yeah, I'm just slightly less optimistic than you.
Oh shit.
Um,
Oh shit. I thought I was being pessimistic here.
I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I often am. But I think that the pandemic will have a profound impact on our future, even for years to come, and it will like change the way we work and shop and live for a long time. And I think we're not going back to business as usual. We just have to accept this business as unusual and adapt to it.
Oh, that's a very good headline. Business as unusual. The new reality. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, plans for Q1 are crushed. I mean, March has been frustrating for so many people. There have been layoffs. Like, March was practically entirely wasted for a lot of companies that I've been working with. So for Q2, like, OKRs and KPIs are not being that optimistic either. But for Q3, in terms of business planning, from now I'm seeing from my guys in terms of budgeting, like, they will continue to invest, which is the first step toward changes. Will there be like large events? No one knows. Sara, and I am grateful for this perspective, even though as a person, as a golden retriever by heart, I cannot really comprehend it. But yeah, like, I mean, we will do stuff, business will go on, and we will adjust and just like do stuff differently, I guess. I mean, if I recall from 2009 crisis, it took us like here in Slovenia, what, 4 years to recover or something like that?
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But tell you what, tough times create winners, and people are adjusting gravity. So whatever doesn't kill you make you stronger at the end of the day. And I really, really, really hope that everybody will be able to go through this transition. And just like on a side note, there is nothing wrong to ask for help. Like, everybody's adjusting, everybody's in this shit together. So whenever you need something, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. The worst you can do is be ignored or get a no, but hey, that's something that we have to deal with as human beings anyway. Sorry, I'm getting way too philosophical here. That's my common mistake. So let's go, Sara, to the question that we initially teamed up with to answer. And this one will be entirely yours. These are the questions from Anna about her product, ideabody.com. She prepared 4 questions. And in terms of screen sharing, would you mind if I open this one, or are you reading questions from the screen share right now?
I'm reading questions.
Okay, cool.
So, okay, maybe just like open a tab and we can switch.
Yes. Cool. Just to get the people like the notion of what we are talking about.
I think the first one was whether it makes sense to go B2B or B2C.
Yes.
So my like general advice would be to ask yourself who is paying. So definitely focus your MVP, your first product, on the one like the customer segment that's paying. If this is a business, which in most SaaS products it is,
yes.
Then definitely your business, your go-to strategy is B2B. If you're selling like consumer goods, then it's B2C. There are also like other alternatives like B2B2C, which we saw in the past few years. I don't know, an example is if you buy a laptop that's not a Mac, you get like Windows installed and you get Microsoft Office. So that's where a company sells their products through another company, but it's not white label. So they use their distribution network. So I think you have to ask yourself, where are you getting the money from, and then try and focus your strategy on them. So that's the gist of it.
Brilliantly put. I absolutely agree with that. Like, in terms of value that we are gathering, so this is like an ideation tool. And I mean, just like from my perspective, would I ever pay for a tool that would enable me like idea management for selecting an optimal kitchen equipment? I don't think so. But if I would be in charge, like in an innovation department, to create like a culture of collaboration or whatnot, that would be a valuable tool. And tools like this are very like COVID proof. In my podcast, Katarina, your colleague from HR, mentioned Donald, that you installed Donald on Slack to randomly pair people.
I have to put a disclaimer there. So it's not like donut.
Go ahead.
I've heard like weird responses to that. It's like donut, like the thing you eat. It's cool. It's a tool that it's basically an integration on Slack that randomly pairs you with your colleague that you then have lunch with every week. So you get to hang out via Zoom while you cook your lunch.
Fantastic. And I mean, integrations are so powerful because, again, as we were talking about before, you are piggybacking on somebody else's audience, right? So that tool would be like awesome to use for all Slack users that are millions and billions of. And I believe ideation is a very similar challenge to that. I mean, remote ideation is difficult. So definitely in terms of what immediate needs of people and businesses are, I am with Sara. Cool. Very well done. Let's move to the second question. How to communicate all features that the product has, but not to be boring to people. Love it. Love it.
That was an interesting question. So I'm going to say this. So I think that like customer development is just as important as product development, if not more. So I don't think it's so much about building features and communicating all the features. It's more about your customer. So I think you shouldn't be like telling, oh, we have this and this and that. It may have like a wow effect on them. Okay, this tool is really comprehensive. It's an all-in-one tool. It has great value for money. But in most cases, it just may be overwhelming for them to start with. So I would suggest that you make the customer the star of your narrative. So don't communicate what your product has, but communicate which problems you're solving for them. So which benefits your product is bringing to them. So like this should be your tagline. We're helping you do this, not we have these features. I think that's a good approach.
Very much so. And from what I'm seeing here on the website, guys have already nailed two things. So they have a framework and they have a process. And here, I guess that you can like capture a lot of learnings from business model thingy and strategizer and whatnot, because like practically they are giving up one part of the product for free. And later on, if you are serious about things, they offer consultation and additional projects. So it's just like to have a hook, how to get like customers into your ecosystem, and to those who comprehended the value and are serious about the things, you can later on progress and upsell. And Sara has so much more experiences in that perspective. But yeah, features in terms of, I mean, it's a common trap when customers want something and then like you would like to develop for them. So I would just like to ask you, Sara, when we are talking about customer-centric development, what's the minimum amount of requirements that somebody should generate before they go ahead and realize that crazy John's idea that the menu should have unicorns inside?
Well, I'm gonna give a generic answer, but try to find the minimum value that you can offer and start with that. What that is, it's hard to say. I think you have to go out and ask your customers. And if it turns out to be wrong, then pivot. But yeah, start small and then build up on that.
Amazing. And that tool could like be used for iteration for COVID, how businesses are adjusting to the new reality. I mean, they have like some kind of scoring system here. That's a beautiful entry point. We are on the sorry, did you want to say something?
Sorry, I was considering maybe this could be like a wonderful add-on to maybe an existing tool that has
Yes,
a lot of users already. I was
absolutely.
thinking in terms of product management, this definitely covers one part of what we do. So if you like integrate with major product management tools like ProdPath or Product Plan, that could be an interesting approach maybe.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you mentioned this, because what we will post to Anna on comments is also the Miro tool case study, which is absolutely awesome how Miro grow their user base. So that will be helpful to her as well. Third question, and I believe that we can like answer this one really quickly. Discount on discount. Does it create communicated desperation? How we should go about this?
So I think what discounts say is that I'm willing to offer the same value for a lower price, which may have some short-term benefits. If you're low on cash, it gets you the cash flow, but it can be very damaging in the long run. Not only because, I don't know, for example, if you have an existing customer base and they've already paid more, and then they get angry because you're offering the same service to new customers for a lower price. You can also like confuse them if you're offering different types of discounts. So you have to have like a really consistent discount policy, and you definitely shouldn't do it too often, I think. So be really, really careful. It's tricky with discounts, but if you do it right, you can really nail it if you leverage the fear of missing out or a sense of urgency. That can have wonderful effects in some cases.
Absolutely. And also like now in this given situation, I mean, it's important to acknowledge that like things have changed and businesses is going through some rough times. So it's not shameful to give out discounts by acknowledging that maybe like the purchasing power has lowered in a first place. So that's something that I wouldn't shy away from. But it's very, very difficult to get people to pay more in future. once they settle up on a given price. So that's a very, very, very tough strategic decision. And as Sara was explaining before, sometimes it's better to be a freemium add-on on an existing tool and just like monetize later than go full SaaS on people after a free trial as a standalone thing. So that's a wonderful takeaway that you can take from this. All right, last but not least, if we have 2,000 beta users, what to do with them? How to convert them to paid customers?
That's a million-dollar question. Yeah, it depends on which like revenue model you have. You can go with a freemium, so you offer your product with a limited set of functionality, and then like encourage them to upgrade to unlock more premium features. So that's one approach that's commonly used. Another one that I think your product is using at the moment is that you give them a free trial, and then afterwards they have to switch to the paid program.
Mhm.
So one hack that some businesses do is that they require like a credit card before you're able to sign up for a free trial, which again is tricky because you will probably get less beta users, but the conversion to like paid customers might be higher. I think it's also really important to nail the communications. So end of trial, there's some wonderful examples with emails where you just practically go ask them, hey, why don't you upgrade, and maybe offer them some benefits, the discount at that point. So there are various ways on how to do that. I think some companies also have really cool like personalized demos. So once you sign up for a free trial, they like contact you by email. Hey, can you do like a demo for you? So you get to know the product more. So you just don't like sign in and then forget about it. So yeah, I think it's really important to communicate well during the trial period, and then offer them a really good incentive in the end. And another thing, if they're not converting, I would just like ask them. So you have
Why?
2,000 users.
Yep.
Try and leverage that. Go out, ask them. See if it's a matter of pricing or features or any other limitation or restriction they might have. So that will help you a lot to get some learning about why they're not converting.
Absolutely. And just like doing a customer survey and just like observing the segments of users that are interacting positively with the product, meaning that they have developed a quite habit of using it in a predictive time manner. That will be super insightful for you. So if you could like co-create your paid features with your customers, with your beta users, that would be amazing as well, to just like find those people who have been successfully interacting with a product and ask them what do they miss, to whom they would recommend, how did they learn about the product. That would give you like tons of interesting inputs for later on acquisition. Cool. Sara, we have to run to a meeting that we actually have in a couple of minutes, but we covered all the questions and I'm absolutely thrilled that we did that. Let me stop screen share for a moment here. And just like the very, very, very last thing that I would ask you as a person is, what's your advice to people how to cope with this period? And feel free to say anything business-wise, personal-wise, just like, let's close this.
I'm just gonna say, do whatever feels right. Whether you have the urge to be hyper productive and like spend your day working, if that makes you sane, do that. If you want to like lay on the couch and watch Netflix, please go do that. It's a wonderful opportunity. If not now, when's a better time? If you want to like socialize remotely, of course, do that. If you want to introvert and like go deep into yourself and discover some new realities, do that. So just don't judge yourself and have a feeling that you need to follow anybody else's lead, and try and keep yourself healthy and sane, and that's it.
Beautifully. To have like self-compassion, how to cope with things is so important. And sometimes it's even changing. So one day I'll feel like that, the next day I'll feel like this. So just to be like sensitive toward yourself. Sara, thank you so much for being my first guest in AMA. I'm absolutely grateful for all the wonderful inputs that you have given to our community. And please come again.
Please invite me again. It was my pleasure. And
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend and you've been amazing. Ciao.
bye.
Super. Zdaj se moram pa jaz tukaj, da se neha snemat.